Hey Scorpio, this is your May 2023 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this is your soul story for the month ahead. It's Romy. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and taking the time to tune in. Okay, we're going to open up with the energy of the Seven of Coins, and it might have felt like it's been a waiting game. And yet with this lunar eclipse coming in your sign on the 5th of the month, headline noteworthy date to keep in mind at 14 degrees, there's something coming to fruition. There's a feeling not only of wrapping up and a chapter closing, but also that your patience will have paid dividends. And I think, you know, more than anything, Taurus energy, Taurus season is teaching us to really create and architect like a new value proposition for ourselves. Like, where are we investing our energy? What do we value? And then when we come to terms with the things that we do appreciate, then how can we attain and accumulate more of that so that we can really surround ourselves in the harmony, the balance, the peace, the abundance that we seek, but also that we deserve. And so the Seven of Coins for me is quite auspicious. Now, there might be a sense of lingering or continuing frustration in some aspects of your life, whether this be showing up around career, work, relationships, or just a situation that you felt you've been in limbo, or that there's been a huge amount that has come from you and it still doesn't feel like that reciprocity is played out yet. And yet, of course, remember, in Taurus energy, we are your 7th house. So there's a lot of mirroring going on here. An opportunity for some deeper shadow integrative work is always incredibly helpful during this time of year for you. But also what we're seeing through the course of May is this opportunity for you to start to call in new support systems, new people, new relationships. And I think that it is a month of choices, and it's a month of freedom that's starting to open up in new ways. And as you continue to kind of bring things to life for yourself this month, Scorpio, you'll find that that is particularly relevant as other connections and people are entering to kind of be a part of that for you. As I said, there's a cathartic energy that in the wrapping up and the release of something, you are kind of really creating space for a lot of this energy that's already been in motion and momentum. You see, the 7 is sort of telling me you already done the work, but now we have it kind of coming together. And this is a month where you should start to see things come together. Now, when we open up May, we're going to have Pluto shifting retrograde in Aquarius. Of course, this is always an inward journey to reflect on our personal power. And in Aquarius, we're looking at more non-conventional experiences. And for me, you know, what this is really highlighting is that, you know, this is you crafting out and strategizing. How am I going to do life on my terms? How can I make that a reality? And so a part of that will be understanding, you know, who you're not. So how do you start to really honor the person that you are and your future self, who's right now on direct dial saying, hey, this way, this is who we're going to become. So these are the things necessary to put in place. Now, we've got asteroid goddess energy shifting as well this month. We've got Juno on the 1st moving into Gemini, bringing a charming, charismatic and somewhat emotionally detached approach to any kind of contracts, negotiations, anything that comes in professionally and personally, and I think will help sort of counteract, I suppose, a little bit of the confusion or perhaps misunderstanding that some of that retrograde energy might be causing with Mercury. But also, as Pallas Athena shifts into Leo on the 2nd of the month, you've got strategies and solutions that come from a heart-led place and are incredibly creative and actually quite brave and bold. So this is a lot of like really nourishing, rich energy to kind of carve and to alchemize in a way that can serve you. What we, I guess, want to remind you of, right, is that the dream relationship, the dream business, the dream life that you are architecting or trying to, you know, invite in to receive will never be free of conflict. And it's just that recognition that wherever you are, at any point in the journey, you're always going to be coming up against these experiences that are going to force you to continue to grow. And so that's a positive thing, because as you regard this thoughtfully, honestly, lovingly, you can turn around these situations that may right now still feel like they're giving you stress points, and you're kind of doing the why me or the what if. And really recognize that if this is just part of the deal, if this is part of the bargain, like at every moment, even when I get what I want, even when the things come in that are a complete match to the manifestation that I put out, there are still going to be things that feel like they need more adjustment, that still feel like they're splitting my energy. And again, this sort of brings you into this place of sort of deep acceptance about the true nature of your soul journey. And again, then helps you to have a better attitude and approach, as we said, so that you make peace with everything that is happening. And therefore, the energy that's fueling what comes next is so much higher in frequency and vibration. Now, the Queen of Wands coming through here tells me that, again, the charge and the sort of motivation to follow through, I think, with an adjustment is driving you. And so even if there's a sort of a kind of I want to stick with the comfort zone, I don't think that's really going to be too possible through the month of May. I think you kind of have to get on the train. It's already left the station to a certain degree. And I think you have the capacity here to sort of really enjoy the experience a lot more than perhaps what you're feeling into at the moment. You know, there may be a part of you that's just going worst case scenario. In fact, maybe we need to say, what is the stress situation or experience that is on a constant loop and repeat in your mind? And it might have happened 20 years ago, but if you really think about the number of seconds and minutes and hours and days and weeks that it consumed you, that continues to consume you, I think there's a moment here where we will kind of want you to put down the sword and stop fighting this, stop fighting yourself, because the space is sacred and your spiritual self wants that space for all of this newness to come in. And we have what almost looks to me like a kind of a hive, like a honeybee. So there's all this pollen, all this richness, all this nectar that kind of wants to be brought in. And one of the big themes this month is about our belief to receive. And Taurus is saying, you have to be determined and focused and deliberate and intentional. But at the same time, you have to be completely open and willing to kind of experience every moment of the journey and be patient. And so through these eclipse energies, as the sort of storm comes at us and the headwind feels a little bit uncomfortable, the changes are not necessarily what we asked for. The ability to be able to hold that approach and kind of be like the tree, rooted, but also bending in the breeze, is what will help you withstand any of the challenge, but also stay incredibly aligned to the value of what you deserve. Now, death energy coming in here, I love for you. Of course, it links into the energy of your sign. Illuminated in white here, there's something very pure about the experience that you're going through, however humbling, however much it's stripping you back, however raw and sensitive it may be feeling as something is coming to an end, or you're thinking about the shift or the change in seasons in your life. There is this honesty to it, that if you can kind of fully embrace that, I think that what comes next is going to be even more beautiful, because the little reveal of these gorgeous flowers kind of emerging out of the concrete stone here is just showing how much this new life wants to kind of take seed. And Taurus, it's like a beautiful sort of analogy, isn't it, that we really get to think about, what are we planting in the garden of our life? Yeah, and there's always seasons and cycles to that. You have choices this month, and it's very important that you remember that. There is going to be this sense of, is this even working? Is this even worth it? What if? These big, bold questions that are kind of a bit loaded and a bit rooted in almost challenging the universe. Well, show me. Well, prove to me. And maybe it's not even just to the universe, maybe it's to other people. But here we have Malika of Cups, Queen of Cups. Again, this water energy coming through, very supportive in the center of your reading here. You have to open to receive. You have to drop down into your intuition. You have to become all that you are. See these beautiful peacocks surrounding her. And one of the things that's coming out really beautifully this month is, how are each and every one of us using our God-given natural talents, gifts, and abilities in the way that we're supposed to? How is that showing up across the board for you? If it's coming up in the areas of work, but you never deploy it when you're in those friendship or family dynamics, how is that serving you? You're you for a reason. You've been given this energy and this expression of everything that you are for a reason. So the more you can return to that, to celebrate, honor, recognize it, it's where you start to see the improvement across the board. Now, Venus is moving into Cancer on the 7th of the month, and in relationships, in our money story, we're going to seek a deeper degree of safety. So we'll be looking to elicit responses from people that make us feel more secure. And here's the thing, this is where Cancer energy can get a little bit indirect and perhaps play a little bit of mind games, yeah? So we have to be cognizant of that at the same time as taking the nurturing and the more sensitive, tactile approach that can support us. And that water energy, again, helps you. It's the same language that you speak. So I think this will be a helpful position for you as you are looking to get closer or receive that level of intimacy that you desire. Or in regards to your money story, really think about, how can I protect myself? How can I nourish myself, nourish, the abundance in my life? Of course, the other big move this month is Jupiter coming out of Aries, moving into Taurus on the 16th of the month. Now, for the next 12 months, it's in your 7th house. So everything here is going to get expanded and amplified. And here's the thing to understand, right? If Jupiter's benevolent, then it's going to focus on the expansion of anything that is perhaps working or not working. Because if it's not working and it's not where you're supposed to be, or something's in the wrong order, the universe wants to fix it. So in 7th house, of course, it's going to be directly in those personal relationships, with an onus again on managing the integration of shadow self. So your 2 of Swords says there's an indecision and indecisiveness here. But, we're at a crossroads point with all of this shift and change, with all of this expansion and this desire to get real. This is what Jupiter and Taurus is helping us with, to harness that life force energy of Aries and to make it something meaningful, to bring it into a tangible form. How are the people in your life supporting and serving you to do that? What changes need to take place? So there might be an indecisiveness as that planetary shift happens, but this is a theme you're working with over the next year and can be incredibly auspicious for you to be put into the pathways of people that can really support and elevate and progress you, and your relationships kind of really going through a more elevated, abundant, bountiful period. New moon in Taurus comes in on the 19th, one of the most beautiful manifesting new moons this year. Yeah, just because it's so grounded and creative and resourceful and tenacious and focused on all of the things that make you feel good. Think about those beautiful Venusian energies. What do I want to surround myself with, that when I look at it, I just think, the indulgence of being in this space and having these things around me makes me feel like me. And that doesn't have to be shallow, it can be beautiful, simple things. So the new moon on the 19th is an important time to kind of reclaim and revisit all that vision boarding, all of the things that you said you wanted. Do you still want them? Do you need to be bolder and braver? Mars in Leo on the 20th says yes. Let's bring some heart to it. Pallas Athena in Leo's bringing you the strategy and the solution this month. So don't leave the what if and the question mark on the table. What would have happened if I'd tried? What would have happened if I'd believed in myself? What would have happened if I'd just gone for it? This is the month, cause some ruckus yourself. Yeah, be adventurous in terms of what you believe is possible. I think this is the time when you can really start to see things coming together in a way that makes sense to you. And if they don't, give you the boldness and the stubbornness almost to just say, I need to devote myself to something entirely different. And again, that lunar eclipse in your sign kind of forcing you to release something that is not serving. In the soul journeys this month, guided meditations that I create to support the soul stories, we're focusing on sitting in the power. So where you are feeling depleted, exhausted, drained, where you need that extra charge to just move through whatever mountain is placed before you, or just come back to your natural essence. It's a beautiful journey to connect into source energy. We also in the shadow are dealing with clearing a block, and perhaps if you do have a major choice or decision coming in, especially around that 16th to 19th of the month, that can be a journey that's really helpful for you. So if you're new to the channel, the last 3 cards we will pull in our extended version. I talk for another 25 minutes or so and go much deeper into the month ahead, just to give you more clarity on what we see coming through. What we're going to do is also just clarify the main cards, see some of the additional messages that might be shaping and carving what comes up for you. Of course, as we move into Gemini season on the 21st, we're going to be lighting up that 8th house for you. Again, you're the natural ruler of this, but it does mean, again, a level of intensity to be felt in some of the experiences. But again, a sort of time for reinvention, I feel, and a firm focus around security, money, the merging and the coming together, moving apart of things. But, you know, I feel you are on this powerful new trajectory, this new course. And if you feel like you're fighting it and resisting it, I think that's the biggest piece of work that you need to focus upon this month. Doesn't mean that you can't make adjustments and edits to what's around you, especially if you feel like you've been sent off in a direction that you didn't ask for. But ultimately, I think there's something in the highest timeline that is playing out here that we need you to focus upon. Okay, we've got here sun energy, beautiful. 10 of Pentacles. All the decks I use are also listed in the comment and description box. Got Empress energy here. 3 of Swords. We've got the Lover's energy here. It's a Gemini ruled card. And the Page of Swords. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull from Life Soul Vision Oracle, which is my deck. If you haven't already seen this, it is over on my website and you can check it out if you feel inspired. Moon Musings, my book, you'll also be aware now, is over on Amazon for worldwide delivery. You'll also find the ebook and the audio version coming online. Okay, so how are we going to clarify with Life Soul Vision? Detours from the divine. I kind of almost feel like you're already in the detour. I think you're aware of something that has kind of been somewhat unexpected, but there's a really beautiful message at the heart of that energy guide. Solstice, of course, we're going to be welcoming as we move our way towards the end of June. 19 kind of draws me to the new moon in Taurus, so I think, you know, the timeline between the 19th of May and that solstice energy is promoting something that you're kind of coming to terms with, and perhaps a little bit of inward focus as we see Labyrinth of Sweet Surrender coming through as well. Okay, Sacred Soul Union. Waterfalls of White Light. It's a really beautiful energetic shielding, protecting energy. Sacral, creative charge, lovely. That along with the Empress and Taurus energy, just again really signals and heralds this beautiful time to kind of bring something to life. What are you ready to birth? Okay, and finally we will pull from the Enchanted Map Oracle here. Okay, we have Sad Embrace. So we will get to the bottom of what this is connecting into in our extended. We'll also look at a personal question for you and pull a couple of cards around that, as well as doing the full reveal on the main spread. So thanks so much for tuning in this month, Scorpio. I appreciate your support. Look forward to continuing this cosmic conversation if you're joining me then. And you take care. I'll see you again next time.